What you hide, you become. What you push aside builds up and then it begins to rule you. Do you want to be in control of yourself, or do you want that trauma, that negativity, that thing inside of you to rule you? Because I don't know about you, but around here, we like to be in control of ourselves, okay? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mystic Temple Spirituality for a New Age. I'm Monica Bay, also known as the Divine Mother, and I am here to bring you truth. Okay, so today we're going to talk about something that you probably don't want to talk about. Why? Because we're talking about things that you don't want to talk about. We're talking about things that you like to sweep under the rug and pretend they don't exist. So today's divinity session is going to be in your face a little bit, but it's important and it's crucial. And matter of fact, it is essential and crucial for you to face these things that are going on inside of you and around you that you need to actually pay attention to. And the passage that we're going to talk about from the book of Rashida today really goes into why that is, why that's important. Why do you care? Why do these topics that you actually don't want to deal with actually impact your life? Not just in a physical, going through things way, but we're talking about mentally, we're talking about emotionally, we're talking about spiritually. Okay, so what we're going to do is just dive right into the passage from the book of Rashida, and it is as follows. It is not that which you demise that seeks the light. It is you that tends to morph into the devil when truth is seen. Stop this behavior and see the truth for what it is, untold but seen. You are the highest form of being. You are truth. Okay, so we're going to break that down in depth. So, first of all, I think it's really important that before we break down the entire passage, it's really important that you understand that when this passage, when the cosmic collective consciousness is saying the devil, they're not referring to the Christian devil, okay? We're not referring to some being out there, some big dark being that is against us, that's trying to destroy us from getting to the light. None of that, okay? The cosmic collective consciousness chose to use the word devil because they knew it would spark attention, they knew it would get your attention, and they knew it's an archetype or an energy that everyone understands. So what they're referring to as the devil in this particular passage is more of an archetype energy. So referring to the darkness and the rejecting forces inside of us, the shadow version of ourselves. So we're going to go back to the beginning of the passage really quick. So where it says, it is not that which you demise that seeks the light. So we're just going to stop there. What it's saying in the book of Rashida, the cosmic collective consciousness loves to be cryptic, so that's why we got to break it down. So when it says it is not that which you demise that seeks the light. So the word demise is really odd there, but what it really means, because they like to layer meanings here, what it really means is the word demise means to finish, to put away, to destroy, to dismantle, to end, and it also means death. So what they're referring to regarding the death and the demise of the things that you sweep under the rug. So these are the things that you're pushing away. Okay, things that you see to be true, but you are pushing them away and pretending that they're not. It doesn't seek the light. What they're saying is these things, as you put them in the darkness, as you put them into the shadows and sweep them under the rug, guess what? They're going to stay there. But they don't stay there and do nothing. They stay there and they build and they grow into darkness, which then becomes you. So that's why it says that it is you that tends to morph into the devil when truth is seen. So the fact that you sweep it under the rug, that darkness is still there and it begins to grow. And then you yourself become that which you were trying to avoid. You then become that darkness. That darkness begins to grow into something else. It begins to grow into negativity. It begins to grow into fear. It begins to grow into envy. It begins to grow into a lot of things that end up becoming you. And you begin embodying that energy. So, this is a warning here, a warning not to sweep things under the rug, a warning to be able to see the truth, not just be able to, but actually act and see the truth and take it in and deal with it. Because when you sweep things under the rug, it builds up inside of you. And as an energy healer, and a metaphysical healer, I deal with this all the time with people, and I also teach about this stuff. And the book of Rashida really is echoing what I already know to be true, and many of you already know to be true as well, that what you hide, you become. What you push aside builds up, and then it begins to rule you. Do you want to be in control of yourself, or do you want that trauma, that negativity, that thing inside of you to rule you? Because I don't know about you, but around here, we like to be in control of ourselves, okay? So if you want to be in control of yourself and not be ruled by some dark thing that is growing inside of you because you decided to push something under the rug, then you need to deal with your truths. And that's what this passage is talking about. Now, for example, there's many people, and I've done it myself, we've all done it, where we see something we know something to be true. And also, this passage talks about seen, it says unseen, or I'm sorry, untold, but seen. Because sometimes truth is not right in our face in it verbally, but we are all psychic. We all have the ability to see truth. We all have the ability to discern truth, all of us. It's whether or not we choose to pay attention. And that's what this passage is warning you about, paying attention. If you want your life to be happy, you want your life to be whatever it is you want it to be, you have to maintain control over that. And as long as you allow things to be swept under the rug, as long as you allow yourself to ignore things that you know to be true, then you're causing your own suffering. And again, there's many divinity sessions around that, how suffering is a choice. Why is suffering a choice? Because you have a choice to listen or not, because you always get the message. How many times have you been in a relationship? I'm going to use this because this is something that is very, very common. How many times have you been in a relationship in the past or the present? Some of you are in this right now. You have an inkling, you have a nudge, you have an inner knowing. You don't have proof, you don't know how, but you know that this is not the right relationship for you. Or you know that this person is lying about something, or whatever that truth is. There's a lot of little things that are going on. But because you don't want to deal with that truth, you choose to believe the person. You choose to stay anyway. You choose to turn the other cheek. You choose to whatever you choose to do, not dealing with the truth that you know to be true because you don't want to deal with that truth because it's uncomfortable. But guess what? Life is not about comfort all the time. Of course, we want to be comfortable. There's no one here that doesn't want to be comfortable. But when you allow comfort to lead you, you are leading with fear. Understand that. If you are allowing comfort to rule your life, that's what you're leading with. Is this comfortable? Is this not comfortable? And you're allowing that to lead your decisions, you're doing it the wrong way. You're doing life the wrong way, and you're creating your own suffering. So it said, stop doing that behavior. Stop this behavior is what the passage says. And it said what it said. Stop this behavior. You have to be adult enough and mature enough to see the truth, to whether it's in your face or not, but you just know it to be true. Always follow your inner calling, your inner knowing. It never lies. Know that. Your conscious mind may misinterpret something, may misunderstand something, may sweep something under the rug, but your spirit always knows the truth. And it lets you know the truth if you're listening. A real quick transmission. The new Medical Music platform just launched. Yay! Curated vibes you can really feel and groove to, categories that match your inner state, and music for your soul. This is Frequency with Purpose. Go to medisoulmusic.com and catch these vibes. So when it says it is you who tends to morph into the devil when the truth is seen, this what they're saying again is this is the darker side. This is also the ego response, okay, to whatever. I'll just use it relationships because this happens so often. You know that this person's cheating, okay? You know that's happening. You don't have proof that it's happening. So you're going to continue to go on and believe whatever is being said. You're going to continue to listen to whatever is more comfortable for you. You're going to listen to that instead of following your inkling. Until you have proof, and you may never get that proof. And I see this all the time. If people stay in relationships for years and years and years, and then they finally get the proof. They realize, oh, this has been happening for 5 years. And I'm out here looking stupid. And that happens all the time. Okay, but let's use a different example. So say you are say you are in a career and the career is going great. You're making money, and I've been there. This has actually happened to me. So you're in a career, you're making lots of money, you're doing all these things, but you have an inner knowing that tells you that it is time to move on. It is time to do something else. You have a calling for something else. And it doesn't logically make sense to leave this cushy, comfortable thing for something that is more unknown, right? So a lot of people will not take that leap and jump into that other thing, or at least even start acknowledging it and start exploring those things, because as soon as they feel that discomfort, they morph into the archetype energy of the devil, which again is negativity and inner turmoil and distraction, confusion, all of the things. Okay, so we morph into that archetype when the truth is seen. And we say, oh no, I don't want to deal with that. It's too difficult. It's not comfortable. It's not what I feel like dealing with right now. So maybe I'll deal with that later. Then what happens? We get that inkling more. And many of you can relate to this, whether it's a job, whether it's anything else. You felt like you needed to change and you delayed doing that out of fear of discomfort. So you stay, you keep doing what you're doing. You're going through the motions. That voice inside gets louder and louder. That darkness begins to grow. Sometimes now we begin resenting other people who are happy in their job because we're not happy in our job anymore. Or where we start lashing out at other people at work. We start clinging on to other problems that are not, and we blow them out of proportion because what's really going on underneath is we don't want to see the truth. So there are a million examples I can give, but I'm sure that you can recognize this either in your past or in your current experience. And the warning here that the book of Rashida is giving us is to remind you to stay the course and see the truth. Don't be afraid of the truth just because it's uncomfortable. Because what's on the other side of that discomfort is change, is beauty, is transformation. Guess what's on the other side of staying comfortable? Complacency, boredom, unhappiness, depression, darkness. That's what's on the other side of comfort, just staying comfortable just to be comfortable because you're afraid of being uncomfortable. So we think that ignoring truth buys us peace, it buys us comfort. But what it really costs us is our own alignment. In this passage, it clearly says, you are the highest form of being. You are truth. So to ignore truth is to ignore yourself. To dismiss truth, to let it demise, is to demise yourself, your own true self, your highest self. So this actually destroys your higher self. You cannot be in your highest, most powerful version of yourself while you are ignoring your truth. Know that. The two cannot coexist because you are truth itself. And this brings us back to the reality that you are a light being, that you are the highest form of being. You are truth. So stop ignoring your truth. Stop hiding your truth as well. Let's talk about the other side of this outside of just pushing things under the rug. Sometimes what we're also pushing under the rug is our truth that we need to share. Because why? Because it makes us uncomfortable. If we need to share a truth, we have a truth inside of us. There was a divinity session about you having a message inside of you. We all do. If there's a truth inside of you that you are not sharing because you are afraid of what people are going to think, you're afraid of how things are going to be interpreted, you're afraid to put yourself out there, you're afraid to be seen. That is also sweeping truth under the rug. That is also not allowing you to be in your highest version of yourself. So, with all of that being said, the core message here is to stand in your truth, to face your truths, and not sweep them under the rug. Do you want to become the happiest, most powerful, most amazing version of yourself that can possibly exist? If that is the case, you must live from your truth. In order to live from your truth, you have to face your truth. And you need to listen because that also helps you limit human suffering. So as you do this, I need you to be strong. I need you to stand in your strength. Like I said in the channeled wisdom circle the other day, stand in your God form. You are the highest form of being. Stand in your God form. Listen to your intuition. Understand what it's telling you and act from it. You don't need to have proof of anything. I will tell you personally, I have had many times where I have had some type of intuitive knowledge download to me that doesn't make any common sense, where it's not from anything I saw, nothing in front of me clearly says that this is the case, but I know when I receive something. And I have learned over time, I didn't always, but I have learned to follow that. And now I follow it 100% of the time. And guess what? Guess what I learned? It never leads me wrong, ever. Even if it makes no sense. And it may make no sense to someone else on the outside looking in, but I know. And when I follow it, never leads me wrong. Your higher self, your spirit, your soul will never lead you wrong. So listen to that inkling. So before we go, this week, I want you to identify one truth, at least one truth. You may have many, but I want you to identify at least one truth that you're avoiding. And whatever the first thing that comes to mind, that's the most important one, because we all have truth that we sometimes avoid. Like I said, myself included, not anymore, but I used to do it. This is natural, it's normal. We don't like discomfort. But this week, I want you to think of one truth that you've been avoiding, and I want you to face it, and I want you to deal with it, whatever that is, and take action from it, whatever that is. Whether that's an internal introspection that just needs to be understood about yourself. What action can you take from an internal introspection? Okay, now that I understand this about myself, how do I move going forward? Or if it's something situational, that a truth that you know to be something that you know to be true from a situation, then whatever actions are needed in order to solve the problem or fix it somehow, or whatever needs to happen, make sure you're taking those actions, because the truth is there for a reason. It's to be acted upon in some way. Okay? I always say knowledge without action is pointless. So anytime we have a knowledge of truth, there is some type of action, whether that's a physical action or whether that's a mental, emotional, spiritual action, whatever those things are. And with that being said, I'm going to now say a prayer in the divine language, which essentially means peace be unto you. Zor Kubdi. And I'll see you next time.
They never told you, did they? No. The power in your hands, it glows. In the mirror, a stranger stares back, but it's you. It's you. The world lacks. Feel the pulse beneath your skin, the storm you hold. Let it begin. Standing your God form, rise and shine. They never told you, but it's divine. Stand in your God form, claim your throne. You've been the ruler all along, alone. small, a shadow dancing on their wall. But now the shadows start to fade, and you, my friend, are unafraid. Feel the weight fall off your name. Let the fire consume the shame. Stand in your God.